What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So, anybody that's been on this channel for a while or been rocking with me for a while know I do something called Story Time with Mac, where I tell stories about my upbringing in Chicago and what I saw, or life experiences, or things that happened to people that were around me or closely associated to me. Right? Usually, it's some type of it's really comic relief in a lot of the stories. Even though some of the stories that were kind of scary, it's comedy in it now for me as an adult, but it still was a little scary at the time it happened. But with this story, nothing is comedic about this story. Nothing is funny about this story. This story is super tragic. But I wanted to tell it to give a warning to young women who may be in a relationship where domestic violence is occurring, and the message is to get out immediately. Right? Um, Now, this situation happened to a classmate of mine at Morgan Park High School. Again, y'all know Morgan Park High School, South Side Chicago, in the Hunnits, far South Side. Um, this is my senior year. This is 2010. I graduated 2011, so this is the beginning, first half of my senior year. It's 2010, end of November, right? So school is going by as normal. Everybody excited about prom coming up. We all excited to be, we going to college soon. Everybody been filing college applications, trying to figure out where we gonna go. Girls picking out prom dresses, dudes figuring out what we finna do, what type of tux or suit we gonna wear to prom later on. Even though that's the next semester, we just all excited. We know it's the last year, right? We all just trying to enjoy each other, enjoy each other's company while we can, because we know when we go to college, we're not going to be in the same space for a while, and maybe not ever after this, right? So, this November 28th, school a regular day. No, excuse me, November 29th. School is a regular day. Everything is everything, right? So after that, that night, everything cool. That morning, I get up. I remember this vividly. I get up, and my mom watching the news in the morning. She watch the news to see the weather and to see what's going on in the world. Her and my pops, they do that, right? As you should watch the news. I need to get better at it. And when I'm leaving out the door, I hear about like some homicides that occurred on like 111th and Bell. That's like, I guess that would be considered Beverly. Yeah. 111th and Bell. That's Beverly. Nice area, nice neighborhood, all of that. I'm like, man, what's going on over there? I didn't even get time to hear what happened. I just rushed out the door because I knew I had to catch the CTA bus. I got to catch the bus to go to school, right? Now when I get to school, like y'all, when I get in there, it felt like you could hear a pin drop in school. That's how silent, how quiet, like the aura around the school. When I first got in, I saw faces, people looking like their worst nightmare had come true. I'm not exaggerating. People were looking like, I'm talking about the look of fear on their face when you get in school. I see people crying their eyes out. So at this point, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Now I hear, yo, it's Jade, it's Jade, it's Jade. Jade Hannah was a classmate of mine. She was going to be graduating class of 2011, right? She was 17 years old at the time. We all 17, most of us 17. Our 18th birthday hadn't come up yet for most of us. Some of us had their 18th birthday in October or September. You know what I'm saying? But most of us was, 17. So she's 17. Everybody is Jade, is Jade. So when I heard some people say it's Jade, I say, hold on, wait a minute. Not what I just heard on the news this morning about what happened on 111th and Bell. They like, yeah, Malcolm, that was her. So now I'm like, you playing. I got class with Jade. Now, me and Jade were never close, but we knew each other. We spoke to each other. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't close, but we knew each other. We had class with each other. I just saw her the day before, right? So when we get to class, we get in school, and I'm seeing teachers crying. I'm talking about, like, again, now I'm wondering what happened? What happened? So eventually, I get the story. The story is her ex-boyfriend took her life, her 43-year-old mother's life, and her 11-year-old sister's life. in the most horrific fashion possible. Okay, so allegedly, this is how it was told to me, and this is what you can look this up on Google. So her boyfriend had come, or at the time I believe she had broken up. They said she had broken up with him. She had broken up with him. He was a violent young dude, right? Matter of fact, like he had as a juvenile, he was charged with domestic battery of Jade after allegedly pushing and slapping her in his Park Forest home, right? So he already was known to be an abuser, have a temper. He was known to be domestically violent towards her. I remember, and again, I don't know how true this part of the story is, but I believe people because this is what I heard. They said either the year before that or that year, I think it was the year before that, he came to homecoming with her because he didn't go to school with us, right? And they say he came to homecoming with her. And they say he was pulling and grabbing all on her at homecoming, being aggressive with her then. Where some of her male friends saw it and was about to get into it with him up in there. Right? Now, I was at homecoming junior, senior year. Freshman, sophomore year, I wasn't there at homecoming. But junior, senior year, I was in the homecoming dance for sure. But I don't remember seeing her. You know, Morgan Park got a lot of kids up in there. We all up in there in the mix, all having a good time. So I don't remember seeing her. But this is what I heard, that he was at the homecoming dance, either like that year or the year prior to, grabbing and pulling on her, being aggressive with her and all of that, right? And then he got the domestic battery charge and all of that. So Jade had enough. She broke up with him. The guy, he's so jealous. He's so deranged. He's so abusive. He's so sick in the head. He come over to her house, I guess, to try to like see why she broke up with him, or he get mad because she ain't with him no more, whatever. They in the hallway, I guess, getting into it or arguing about it, right? And out of nowhere, the man has a knife on him and he stabs her all in the neck, the chest, all over the place. I'm talking about, and then not only that, he stabs all of them. Her mother and her 11-year-old sister, takes all of their lives. And I'm talking about, when I say stabbing, not once or twice. Like this 11, 12, 13, 14 stab wounds on all of them. Each, right? This is grisly. This is gruesome. This is like horrific. For real. Like something that we never thought would happen to somebody that was around us. This is stuff you see on like TV, on these like TV specials. You know what I mean? And so when we like, what? When we get the details, like y'all, again, I wasn't even close to Jade. But you don't got to be close to feel that. I just saw her in class. You feel me? I just seen her in class prior to that, day before that. So, you know, now I'm in here like, was it the day before? Yeah, the day before I did. Just saw her in class the day before. So, and when I hear the details of it, yo, you want to throw up. Because then again, her mama, her 11-year-old sister, you know what I'm saying? Like none of these women deserve to have none of that happen to them. But a psychotic man, because he was 18 at the time, a psychotic young man is lose his mind and does something absolutely demonic, horrific, for real, turns into an absolute demon and like it's just crazy. But I remember when this happened. Like I remember our teacher was bawling her eyes out to all the teachers. It was crazy, right? Now after this happens, you know, we started getting more details of the story. We find out he walking around after he did it. He walking around Beverly with all the bloody clothes all on him. Walking around, acting as if he didn't do it, somebody else did it. Trying to get somebody to call his mama for him. He gonna meet her at the CVS on 111th in Western, I believe, or something like that, right? And police flying through the neighborhood looking for him, but people didn't know it was like he was the one that did it initially, right? Of course, he gets apprehended. He gets arrested, all of that. And y'all, it made everybody sick to their stomach. You know, because again, we just like, yo, this is crazy. This is happening to somebody that we know. And people, like, she was close to a lot of people in school. You got people in school, like people, it took years for people to recover from her loss. I'm talking about her friend, close friends. Oh my God. Like I remember people just posted about her like a week ago. Like people, it took years for people to get over that. I don't know. Like our high school should have gave counseling to them kids because it was horrible. You got kids that was just like, they couldn't even really get into the school like that because they just sitting and thinking about, yo, our friend, their friend who was once at school with us, she no longer here. Her desk is sitting with nobody in it. It was crazy. Um, I couldn't even, and again, I wasn't even close to her. I couldn't even go to the funeral because I was just like, yo, that was just, a lot of people went to the funeral, but oh man, I couldn't imagine being in there, but a lot of people was in there because it's just a horrific thing, right? Um, I remember when graduation came, we left a seat open for her in the seats where the graduates sit, right? I think her name was on the seat, and then one of our other classmates, Brian DeWitt, he died in a car accident. Both of their seats were left open and available, like with their name on it, like as if they was there, right? At the graduation, Jade's grandmother came and spoke about, the homicides, the murder of her granddaughters, two of her granddaughters and her daughter, right? Because Jade's mother had her life taken, and she spoke about, if you in a young women, if you ever in a relationship and things get violent, please leave, get out, whatever way you quick as you can, as quick as you can. And she wasn't faulting her granddaughter at all, right? She's just telling like, yo, this dude, he was so violent and so upset. And when she got out, he just couldn't even deal with it when she got away from him. You know what I mean? But I remember that day, our whole school was turned upside down. You know what I mean? Whole school, like people just was like, it was disturbing. It was disturbing to say the least. And yeah, I think about her little sister, like her little baby, was a little baby. And when the neighbors were recanting, not recanting, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think recanting. They were recalling. They were recalling the night when they heard the screams, and was like, what is that? And that is I couldn't even imagine hearing that and knowing, oh my God, that would haunt me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was horrific. And so when I tell this story, I'm telling it to all the young women that's in abusive relationships, get out immediately. Get out, because it's like more than likely it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And I don't care. It shouldn't be going on in the first place. It shouldn't be acceptable in the first place. But as it goes on, it gets worse and worse, and it could be a situation where you no longer have your life. And the young man, I had to look up, I should have done it before I did the story, how many years he got, but he was charged with first degree murder for all three of them. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was horrific. It was gruesome. But he was charged with all of that, and as he should have. And got the name, Denzel Pittman is his name. And yeah, man, it was I'm stuttering for words, but I'm recalling all of it now. Again, no lie, when I remember leaving out that morning and hearing the story about somebody. So like, the news give you like a preview of what's coming up. That's what I heard. A preview of what's coming up. Homicides at 111th and Bell. Woo woo. And I'm just like, wow, I just left out the house. Not little did I know, I never expected for me to walk into school and hear that happen to one of my classmates. And to see like everybody in the school bawling their eyes out, crying, because this was this was horrific. Lively girl, spirited young lady, smart young lady, cool young lady, man, like beautiful young lady. And had her life taken from her from a jealous, abusive, psychotic individual. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta be psychotic to be walking around with blood-stained clothes on outside, just walking around. Like it was yeah, that was something I will never forget. You know what I mean? But I told that story as a message to young women who are in abusive relationships. Get out as soon as possible, like Jade's grandmother said.